Look at the ring pull, our first map ring. It does seem like, well, we're going back to Jurassic, and what a time, of course, to go back to Jurassic of all places here. But also want to note that with the bans that came in, particularly with that fuse getting taken out in match number 6, we have our picks of a few console legends. I want to say ring console legends, not controllers, ring console legends. That's going to be the Pathfinder, a huge pickup from a lot of our squads. We did also have a smattering of the Rampage there, particularly Na'Vi and Kinotrope, along with Mouse and Z10.
It's so funny that no matter what, right? Like if it's the Wraith off the table out here, you talk about Fuse, no Ash, no Alter. Let's bring in Pathy. 14 Pathies right now in this lobby, 70% pick rate with Crypto following right behind with 11 Cryptos in this lobby to get that information. I know you saw that side by side with Sparrow at some points to be able to remotely get the scan on those survey beacons here while we get set up on Team Falcons, who are holding first place by a 1-point difference.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, especially with today's ban so far, how as soon as a legend like pricks their heads up, well, you're banned, right? So the Fuse picking up a lot of traction there in game number 6, going immediately down, but it's Mouse now. One of those teams currently on the bubble with 4 matches left to go, trying to secure their spot into the finals day, trying to avoid the last chance qualifiers. But Wolves Esports, another team also on the bubble, trying to fight for their lives right now.
Very important fight right here. No Name taking a nice off angle, putting pressure onto Lufko, having to back away just for right now. You see Donut, you see Crazy Kong, who manages to jump all the way up with a Newcastle wall too. They're trying to go for some of these follow-ups, but Donut is the first to get knocked. It's a trade-off from both sides.
Yeah, Crazy Kong biding his time for now, having someone hold the angle, but No Name will get knocked out. 0-0 with the Mozambiques. We'll be able to finish them off. A great time for them, but they've got to be careful. Possible third party. You can see the crypto drone coming out. It's Gen G showing up here, so that's not going to allow Mouse to go for a full reset.
Gen G wanted in on that fight. I mean, I don't blame them, right? Look at them. They're in 18th. They're at risk of getting eliminated. We are already on game 7. Only 3 more games to go to really turn things around for them, so they need this KP, preventing the reset onto Mouse.
Oh, 0-0. Trying his best to get away here, but Gen G, like you had mentioned, are on the hunt. Mouse will go down. 2 big competitors for Gen G out of the way. This is a huge opportunity now for Gen G to try and just barrel their way up the leaderboards.
Needed it here. Again, we're already at match 7. You got to start boosting up those points. It was a big fight for Mouse, even bigger fight right there for Gen G. As we take a look at Sentinels, honestly, just bottom of the barrel teams thus far in their performance and what they need to work out as we go through these different maps here. Fnatic inside of the tunnel, looking to try to take this fight against Movie Star Boy, who are currently sitting in 19th, also at risk of elimination.
Yeah, they're trying to hold that north side of Jurassic currently. Liable Ace still bleeding out, but you can see Yuka is giving them that information with the drone. TSM haven't been able to push up quite yet. They're still looking for their angle.
Trying to clean up some more KP here. TSM have been fantastic. I love the way that they've been playing with confidence. So we get the nice little highlight, the side-by-side before the quick third party came up from Gen G. This is Mouse finishing off that fight versus Wolves, and now we get to see 18 spots up with TSM still taking this fight, navigating around the nades that he just threw right in front of him, trying to reset here too. Off the low ground though, but it's going to be Movie Star Koi. Blinkster going to be able to get that first knock and then turning around as Fnatic look to get involved in a third party.
Yeah, this is always an awkward position to fight in because teams can easily come in for the third party. You know that teams will be moving into Jurassic very early on. You've got teams that can also come in from the northern side, but it looks like this will largely fizzle out. Both teams reset, and it's just economy that's been wasted from either side. But it's always an awkward fight in there. It's always a long fight to get in because there are so many different angles you have to actually check when you're taking a fight there.
And this early too, right? Like a lot of teams have already been able to get their scan, see how they want to rotate. We know it's probably going to be pulling over to that south side by Jurassic like we already saw before. So you can expect more of these chokes exiting out of Jurassic, specifically south side by Barometer, by Cedo Station, to get congested very fast. A lot of teams like to hold those bunker doors by the fence line.
Yeah, you always have to be careful though. The evac towers, so many teams end up defaulting into evacing into that northern side of Jurassic. A lot of teams, though, right now currently controlling the outskirts of Jurassic, like Alcazia currently. Ninjas in Pajamas also on the south side. Zero Tenacity controlling the choke coming in from Pylon. For Noise Fox, though, they are taking their time coming in from the northern side right now. They do have All Gamers. The team, after taking match number 1, has slowed down significantly coming into match number 7 here. This is an opportunity for them to try and gain some of that back.
Yeah, right. Like, they had game number 1, they won with like 14 KP. It's crazy to see that momentum dwindle away from them, but this is the opportunity. Still sitting within top 9 thus far. Zap holding the high ground with the bow check in hand. He's got some great loot too. The R9 with the gold light mag. Is looking to try to gatekeep this team for right now because they know that Noah's Fox either has to wrap around that beam wall here or actually try to commit to coming out from that hillside, while Edward Gaming are able to get the reset and Sentinels popping off in the feed on E36.
Throughout all of this, Fnatic were able to get the res onto their 2 members. Ninjas in Pajamas, we were talking about them controlling the south side here. It's the southwest side, so that does actually make a pretty big difference. Not too many teams coming out from that barometer side. We might have a crash there, but currently it's a lot of teams focusing on the pylon rotate, but it's still early on. Teams are still kind of rotating through that south side, and we have plenty of opportunities for them to show up and challenge Ninjas in Pajamas for that position. For Falcons, though, this is one of the teams moving in from the pylon area. We've got Zero Tenacity and Furia holding this down, though.
Love it. He's preemptively shooting after the scan off the crypto drone, gets into position, follows up with Howl. They have the Tempest activated. Very scary situation to look at here as they grapple onto that one player trying to run for his life. It's Noctu's one shot. Why are you running? Just go. Face the inevitable at this point.
They also got a knock onto Z10 so they can completely control this side of Jurassic. They're trying to follow up on it right now, and there it is. One more knock onto Missy. Fuda gets finished off here. Team Falcons can play with pure aggression, and they have so since match number 1.
Looking great on clearing this side. Look at all that extra KP. The points here too, trying to build up that gap between themselves and NIP, which, by the way, NIP, a team that's holding that southern choke that we talk about over by Jurassic Park, are in the other spot that I would love to hold in a zone pool like this. Because if NIP clear their backs, it's really Sentinels that they have to make sure will not rotate on their 6.
Yeah, it's our 2 top leaders there on the south side right now, NIP and Falcons, but it's been Falcons who've been picking up these kills and maybe get more. Nemesis coming in from there, but it's Orchid right now that we're on board with, coming through from Cascade Falls. And again, not much in the way of friction because a lot of teams have moved to the western side of the map. We do see ahead of them Movie Star Koi still inside that tunnel, but Orchid, all purpled up, will have a better fighting chance at this one than Movie Star Koi.
Trying to get some poke pressure down while they are trying to shoot at them from afar. It's Fnatic that have now wrapped up behind Falcons. So it wasn't just Team Nemesis. It's the fact that Fnatic are now here still in between Falcons and Nemesis this time around. So you talk about some cleaning up some KP when they're trying to gatekeep these teams. Falcons now looking at these 2 teams with hungry eyes, hearing them down below.
Yeah, Fnatic were forced to go for that reset, right? And behind them all, that entire time, Nemesis were coming up behind. So now, this is Falcons with another possible 6 KP right in front of them. So both of these squads, Nemesis and Fnatic, have to be careful about how they approach this. They still have, of course, plenty of time to maybe revert and go around the mountain and challenge Ninjas in Pajamas, but really it comes down to what Team Nemesis do here, right? They're going to be the ones that could force that sandwich onto Fnatic, but they will also have that priority to try and rotate around from the south side.
Akatsuya were able to get that Mythic bin too. Better position here, considering where they're going to be approaching by that fence line that leads into Jurassic once you're forced outside the choke of Cedo Station, where we know there's going to be a 3-team pileup eventually, as we get to see the map view here too. Team Nemesis, Fnatic, not moving an inch from the edge of the zone, while Falcons are just hailing down more pressure onto them. And it's that inevitable fight between NIP and Sentinels too that will be having to collapse on each other over on that southern side. It's the EMP, it looks like, to start things up as Fnatic set up the Pathfinder zipline.
Oh, they're going to try and get past Falcons, and Falcons have to divert their attention, right? They've got Team Nemesis on the move. That actually clears things up for Fnatic, and now Team Falcons are actually left inside of this sandwich. They're going to try and get aggressive here with the Tempest popped.
Oh, they're looking to get it here with the Devo ready to go. Hal just holding it down over to the other side of the Newcastle wall, but you have to be careful because Fnatic could just wrap around and take Falcon's position after what we saw with that zipline originally too.
Quick response coming out from Team Falcons. Even with so much time left on that Tempest, they knew, hey, we are now in this sandwich. We have to turtle up. We cannot go and just completely throw this game. Team Nemesis throughout all of this with the attention that Fnatic drew back from Falcons, found a moment to push forward onto that fence line. Now it's Team Falcons stuck here. Again, they have a Pathfinder themselves. They can try and zipline, make a similar play, but it's two teams now that can try and focus you down.
They were playing ring around the rosy on who was going to get into zone at this point, and then E36 had reset to then coming from the zone to collapse on the Falcons, Fnatic, and Team Nemesis fight that Nemesis are holding by that tree trunk.
NIP, though, trying to hold things down up against Sentinels. You had called it, but we're back over here at Pylon right now. Falcons turtled up. Fnatic coming in for the third party as well. Enter Force 36, get into a pyramid, and they're able to stabilize. Sentinels ultimately get taken out. They're on the other side of this mountain, but it's not over for NIP. It looks like Falcons will be able to get Zero back in. There's just so much pressure here that no team can really make a move.
When we see the side-by-side of the action happening on the other side of this choke, NIP now forced to play that out as a duo. We hear the res out in the distance. Listen, Evans trying to contest, but he has to reload at the same time. Fnatic get the first initial knock, and now Team Falcons come up and it's clean up on aisle 3.
This is why you turtle. This is why you turtle. Fnatic were consistently posturing for a third party after third party, but it felt like, I guess, to Ender Force 36 that we have to try and take this fight right now, even though they didn't have the utility behind it. Now, with that pressure alleviated, Falcons are back to that, well, not even square one. We're at like square 3 at this point with all the little chess moves that we have between Fnatic and Team Nemesis. They are still now getting gate kept by two separate squads, Fnatic and Nemesis. Here, though, Orchid ultimately getting taken out. Ninjas in pajamas in their move, getting chased down by Noah's Fox.
Oh man, Sparrow ultimate up on the roof side. Griv unable to pop the shield back here in this moment. Sasuke, though, tries to get the finishing blow on the hit fire shots of the 30-30. Cannot clutch it out as AG slide in. We're talking about being a little quiet. Well, now this is the opportunity to go in for a 3P. NIP get eliminated. Fnatic over that entire rotate have moved from the north side of Falcons. Now third party this fight, and they're about to get third party by AG.
Yeah, AG, but this is a much closer fight between the two squads. Neither of them taking too much damage on the way in. As I say that, though, some big damage. Fnatic resetting on the inside of the building. You can see Colonel Garcia trying to chase after these shots, but he gets taken out. It's a one-for-one exchange as they go down, and Fnatic will get eliminated. All gamers will survive. EDG with a helping hand in that fight throughout all of this. Fnatic, again, move out of their spot. Falcons come in and take it over. They're on the other side, opposite end of that fence line from Team Nemesis.
I always love seeing juiced up rampages go crazy. Zappers have been having a fantastic day thus far. And now you get to see AG not only take over that building, you saw the double Pathfinder zipline on the roof side of that building before Fnatic had gone down, showcasing how many teams were trying to time these 3Ps, these 4Ps that we keep seeing on both the southern side of this choke as well as the eastern side of this choke. But this zone will be pulling over to the north side, closer to where Gen G is.
Evac tower play coming out from Falcons. We'll see if any team can clear this one out. And it doesn't seem like no one's really focusing on this balloon, so Falcons will be able to actually get that one up for 3, but do they find a spot inside of the ring? They're going to drop down onto EDG's building, but they are safe for now. So Team Falcons surviving. As I say that, the Walty and Imperial Howl taking a lot of damage. Over here for Kino Trope, they're getting pushed by AG. It's a concerted effort from 2 players. They've lost out on 1, but they're charging forward now. Harrow extremely loose, and he goes down. Kino Trope are knocked out as we've got AG trying to continue forward here up against Falcons, and they will fall. Falcons continuing to farm this lobby, but can they reset?
Even more important for Edward Gaming to stay alive. Peta's going to be able to pop this shield back. A team sitting in 20th place. Because as it stands right now, both Edward Gaming, Movie Star Koi, a team that's in 18th place, Edward Gaming that's in 20th place. This is how important it is. We just saw Sentinels go down a little bit earlier before 2. But look how tight The bottom end of this leaderboard is 22 for Gen G, 21 three-way tie between Movie Stars, Zero Tenacity, and Sentinels.
Luckily, there's still 3 games after this, but you need a great game. Team Falcons ultimately will go down, so our 2 lobby leaders fall, but it's Falcons who are able to make it so much further, securing themselves 93 points before going down. Jaco finds a nice knock onto EDG, but they can't really chase after this one. Na'Vi, again, in that predicament where they have really strong control over the late game, but they can't punish any knocks here. And so Edward Gaming should be able to get the res on this. We're down to our final 4 squads. Na'Vi, Edward Gaming, Movie Star Koi, and Gen G.
Yeah, they're also one of the teams not running the Pathfinder, and even if they did, this is still a way better position for them to hold and keep trying to waste meds away from Edward Gaming that are looking to reset. The G7 may not have a mag, it looked like, literally with the 1x2 as well, but this works for them because they land in Cedo, they made that quick rotate, they're holding onto Sniper Tower and looking at their Legend comp alone, having that Rampart and the amplified barriers really coming clutch with the ballistic and the crypto to get information.
And all 4 of our teams too. This is an important game, right? Because currently Na'Vi are the only ones sitting in a strong position, 8th overall with 40. But for Gen G, EDG, Movistar Koi, all with about 20 points. They desperately need to win here, but EDG will not have that opportunity. We're down to our final 3 squads, but Movistar Koi lose out on 1, lose out on 2, but the res comes through. Na'Vi still not able to punish it though.
With a Pixel just hiding, and you see Slab just trying to give him a haircut real quick. They had gotten that knock originally with that Sheila. Gen G hiding behind the crates. They're going to have a stare down eventually against Na'Vi, but it's a worse position for Movie Star Koi to be in because they will be in the line of sight of the 2 teams that will have height unless Na'Vi and Gen G collapse on each other, which would allow Movie Star Koi to reset.
Yeah, we do have to also mention the differences in terms of compositions as well. While we do have the ballistic across all 3 teams, 2 of them are running the crypto. While we've got the Sparrow for Movie Star Koi, and of course, like you saw there, the Sheila for Na'Vi. So some extra firepower to finish things off for them.
Dude, I swear, Rampart is my sleep paralysis demon. That Sheila, man, it's crazy. It feels like it's so extra personal, too. You're so close to getting into cover, you only have a blue knockdown, and the Sheila's just enough to be a nail in the coffin. But very smart move, too, because Na'Vi understand there could be a chance that Gen G try to take advantage and push before Movie Star Koi could even reset. As you can see right here, they try to move in, try to close on the distance, but Slab with his Devo, who has activated the Tempest originally here, too, is going to be able to actually try to control this fight.
Huge timing push coming out from them. They utilize that EMP extremely well. Slab is in position at the right time for Na'Vi to clear out Gen G. Now it's just Movie Star Koi on the other side of this one, and Slab will slide down, take out one. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but it's easy going for Na'Vi, securing a much needed victory. That propelled them from 8th place to 3rd now, and they will sit pretty for the next 3 games.
Comfy, pretty, say hello to my little friend. You saw the pop-off right there too. Na'Vi feeling themselves. We love to see that momentum right in. And of course, I just feel like it's so gross. The ballistic Tempest into the Sheila too on top of it. You're controlling so much space.
The matching skins as well.
Oh yeah, pretty fresh.
Na'Vi knew this was their game, and it certainly was, right? They ended up drafting, of course, from Ceto Station, had one of the highest priorities for where this zone pulled. It pulled towards them out of Jurassic. So they had everything to work with. They had full control over that northern side. A lot of teams playing the very edges of the zone, trying to come in. We saw so many teams rotating to the south side, creating a huge pileup of squads on the south end of Jurassic Park. And importantly, our two teams at the top of Falcons and NIP. Of course, facing that traffic, go down. They don't have an opportunity to try and go for that late game once again. Great job by Na'Vi, really executing upon their usual playstyle.
And look how important this was. 15 points in favor for Movie Star Koi. Like, look at the amount of KP they were able to secure. Gen G 2, yes, they get the 9 points in total, but these are 2 teams that were on the bottom end of the overall scoreboard, and we're running out of time, Jamerson.
Yeah, they were sitting at about like 20 some odd points before this game, so it was desperation time for a lot of these squads. But now they can play a little bit more relaxed. The pressure is alleviated just a bit, but they are still not safe. As we take a look at the overall, it's EDG, Zero Tenacity, and Sentinels currently there in the bottom 3 on the verge of getting knocked out. But they still have 3 chances left here.
Exactly, but it's so tight here, not only with the teams that are at risk of elimination, but even the teams that are looking to find their spot in the finals. Literally a point difference separates themselves or having to compete in the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, and again, importantly, with this 10-match set and with how much of the points have been kind of monopolized at the
legend bands, as we take a look at Na'Vi, we highlight their POI over by Cedo Station as they start off feeling happy. You saw the pop-offs of the cameras, which is great, honestly. The stage is insane, but it's even cooler to see our player cams up to date, seeing how they feel, and moving on to momentum being as important as it is on Storm Point, while also looking at where our zone is going to be taking us, Jamerson.
Yeah, this is more of a northern pull, but we'll get confirmation in just a bit as soon as that ring console reveals itself. But for Na'Vi, again, very nice win for them. They don't have to really change up anything at all whatsoever in terms of their composition, and so they can continue to play that same game, but it's not going to be the same because this ring is now pulling up to the north side. We saw for a split second there. There he goes. He came back. Don't be shy. The wall is where we are going, possibly here. Of course, with this zone in particular, we can see it kind of split the middle between Command Center and the wall. So it's going to be interesting to see how does TSM, the team that is at the wall right now, approach this. For Fnatic, a team that's right there at Trident that can easily make that rotation, where do they want to take in terms of priority positions?
Or are they going to be thirsty? I'm thinking about Fnatic in this case, right? Because lackluster loot when you land over there by Trident, where you try to bank on playing more so objective. You do have that Evil Harvester that's right there, but is it enough? Do you want to take early fights? Because you know teams are going to go in for early rotates. Kino Trope is already on the way over to that northern side of the hill, where there's an Evil Harvester that leads up the zip line on the outskirts of Command Center. Wolves Esports is going to be able to take that big jump tower too, and they see in the distance a scan on that survey beacon.
Yeah, Wolves do not want the part of any early fights. It looks like the Genji and Mouse were kind of cresting the hills there to get up to Zoo Station, but with that balloon, they'll get pretty deep. And it seems like TSM end up holding that northern building there, the zip line building, and will hold out Wolves for now. So Wolves are going to be in an awkward position unless somehow they can maneuver themselves further in, because you will start having a collapse of teams there eventually. Mouse are already positioning over there. Genji are taking their time over at Lightning Rod, but you have to expect other teams to start rotating in from that northeast end.
Trying to theorycraft here the composition for TSM. They were banking. They're literally the only team, because we don't ever see this played out as often, but they were the team banking on rotates because they actually came out with a Valkyrie composition. The only Valkyrie in this lobby just for the zone to pull on top of them instead. So now they have to prevent other teams from just getting information on their survey beacon on top of their building and still hold height to have the ring console also in their line of sight, because this is their POI, which means that they can really only boost up their own Evo shields with poke pressure looking at their weapon composition.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, right? You're at the most northern part of the map. This map goes downhill from north to south. The Valkyrie gets a lot of value with that skyward dive.
Yeah.
It is kind of unfortunate that it does end up pulling towards them. So it is going to be a bit more difficult for them to try to hold things down. We're already getting some early movement from that further northern side. Movistar Koi are actually wrapping around. They came from checkpoint, went all the way up north. Fnatic gave them the space because Fnatic ended up rotating from the south there, from the chokes instead. Now here on the scramble, Furia versus Z10. Not gets that knock on to Phoenix. We'll see if they can follow up and get that thirst. Keon's gonna try.
Get over here. Everyone's thirsty to try to get this extra KP, but it's a great fight for Furia to take right now. They're just making sure they're not going to get 3-peat, but they won't. No other team in the vicinity other than Na'Vi who are looking to make an appearance. But 0-10 have already left at this point. They're going to try to reset probably in Stormcatcher, where there is a Replicator and a Moby and an Evil Harvester, so it'd be great. Yeah, I mean,
so
it literally
split,
scattered
though.
so quick.
Ninja, scatter. Please, we have to. We need to stay alive. Team Nemesis, though, think this is Falcons. Oh no, this is Edward Gaming, excuse me. Just trying to hold things down. Do have eyes on a squad, and like we had mentioned, right, with all the bans that we've gotten so far, and the fact that we're still here on Storm Point, you can see the strength of those smokes with the Bangalore picks from some of our teams. And even though it doesn't provide you actual cover, the visual cover is enough sometimes to be able to get through situations like that when a Sheila is just staring you down.
It would have been quite a shame if the crypto drones would have just revealed where you're positioned around these smokes. Interesting to see that a lot of the counter picks coming out too, with teams trying to run the very similar compositions here. But it's going to be Noise who are going to now rotate on their own, Trident taking their time. One of the teams to play objective, of course, too.
Yeah.
And play on the edge of the zone. They're going to try to get at least the survey beacon, the ring console over by North Pad, take their time, get into this next zone, probably with purples as well. So you can see Team Orchid playing inside the bunkers this time around. Just have to make sure that their backs are cleared, because really, if Noise wants to commit to this rotate and coming in from specifically the western side, they would probably either want to see if they could take a fight by that bunker side if they hear a fight going down already there, or by the southern choke that you had mentioned we saw Fnatic take originally.
Yeah. For Team Orchid here, though, again, it's just about surviving. They are on the bubble, right? Quote unquote. 17th place, 24 points. If it ended here, they would be moving on to the last chance qualifiers, but they have so many teams, or excuse me, like very little space for the teams behind them. So they cannot misstep. They cannot afford a 0-point game here whatsoever.
We've got an Evo.
We saw how close it was on the bottom end of those leaderboards. 18th through 20th are axed already in this first day, as Sentinels, another team who desperately needed those points, have now cleaned up NIP. That was huge here for Sentinels, and they're going to be able to reset too.
This is also another opportunity now for Falcons to continue to grow their lead. Remember, in that last game, it was 1 point between them, but now Falcons have a very comfortable lead to come out the lobby leaders here. And like you had mentioned, for Sentinels on the other side of the leaderboard, just trying to get into the top 17. But there's still a lot of room for movement. They can easily get into the top 17. Currently, it's Kino Trupp with 42 points. So an 18-point game here for Sentinels can easily get them up into that 7th place position. But with the KP that they already have, this is already looking great.
Makes it a little scary for Team Orchid, who are tied with those 24 points right there side by side. It's just Team Orchid just in a better position in terms of where they stand in this next zone, as long as they can make sure they can clear their backs, because there are two different entryways into that next zone, right? It's that south side and the bunker side too. You could technically take a little bit of that ring damage, is completely fine to rotate from the north side, which is actually what Noah's did, because there's an Evil Harvester on that pathing. So Team Orchid probably heard that Trident looking behind them to make sure it's cleared, while AG now, over by the Prowler side of things, are going to be able to hold this hilltop here with that 30-30 right behind these rampart walls.
Yeah, this is really one of the few options that all gamers had, rotating in behind the priority teams, right? TSM, Movistar, all of them were able to get that north side of the wall, so they couldn't get any deeper into the zone. But this isn't bad at all whatsoever. But there is a small chance that maybe it continues to pull up to this hill. It's very unlikely, but if it does, AG, a team, again, that lost so much momentum, can get that back. Currently, they're sitting in 8th place with 40 points. Just 1 point, or a few points off from that 7th place position.
Good spot to hold, at least for right now, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably going to keep pulling over by the wall side, where a lot of these buildings we saw get taken really early on, while E36 trying to put in some pressure onto Team Nemesis.
E36, they've been on the hunt. They've slow rotated throughout all of this, and really, again, with a pull like that, you can't really expect to get in deep into this zone. And so trying to find the fights on the edges it's going to be extremely important for them. They will be able to try and cut off Team Nemesis. I mean, Team Nemesis already showed that we're running into zone. The only natural movement for them is to continue their way on up from that eastern side to get to Lightning Rod. So Enderforce are just going to cut them off.
Even more important, while we're watching Enderforce rotate here, Genji just got involved in a fight. A team that's literally in like 16th place now after picking up points, and they took out 2 members of Navi. Now the third party's coming in as Furia are looking to take a fight versus Genji, and Edward Gaming aren't going to be moving from into this position. They're actually going to stay here the whole time. They're going to try to waver off any pressure from the teams that try to take that spot, but I don't expect them to get pressured at any point for now, since they have the high ground, they have the Sheila ready to go, they have the Evo Harvester if any team wants to try to grab that in their line of sight. So even more important looking at the teams that will be approaching from the east side. Furious see that it's already too late for the 3P, so they're backing out for now, maybe trying to find the straggler that is Na'Vi.
Oh my goodness, Na'Vi are on an adventure right now. Their solo player looking to try and get the res. So he's going to try and go out to Lightning Rod once again. He had to turn back around because of Enter Force, but hold on just a moment. Enter Force just drop on Knock, take him out with the 3-2-1. They do have a Sheila in their way. Madness holding the line. Keon backing them up. Great EMP. No, I think the drone got cleared here. Furious Drills still trying to hold on. 2v3, and there's the Knock to try and even things out. But E36 are able to converge on them and knock out Furia.
Oh, I know those comms are actually crazy from Madness. I know he got that knock, but he had to reload, and then we saw that last member of Furia also having to reload. Even better situation for E36 to get that initial jump and to get that first knock for them, while Na'Vi's still staying alive here, playing outside the zone after they got the res.
Yeah. Huge play out there for Hierarca, and honestly, it was that aggression coming off from E36 that gave them that window to do so. Team Nemesis also kind of swerved away from that and actually are making their way towards Command Center. But now, as Na'Vi are working their way on in, Enter Force 36 is continuing to find knocks here and there. Na'Vi, though, in the scramble, are trying to find the best position to try and play off of here. It looks like they might be able to get the survey beacon scan.
Look at him dipping and dodging, shimmy-shading his way on the drone to get that information on their survey beacon. It's not for that Evo Shield. They're maxed out with the purple, but even better to look at the teams waiting for them.
Yeah, they got it just in time. Gen G spotted that drone out, tried to take it out, but now Na'Vi, with crucial information here, know that they're going to have to avoid Ender Force 36. You can see now Hierarca is making his way on back. They're going to move over towards Command Center. They know that Team Nemesis have just made their way on in, but they're starting to double back actually off of this.
Coming in from that bunker side, Mythic been out and about right next to Edward Gaming. Will they be able to get it, or will they feel the pressure away from Falcons who are off that low ground? Okay, charge rifle in the distance, finding the crack onto Hal's shield as AG staying in their position, looking at Genji, looking to try to actually contest him for right down below.
Yeah, we didn't expect the ring to pull all the way up towards them, and so they were forced to move. Does seem like they find a moment here. Genji aren't able to continue to push off of this right now. Noah's Fox, we're looking for an opportunity here, but they'll just only send one. AG, get that reset. EMP on out. Will stop the aggression from Genji, but Zap goes down to that nade. Will crawl back to his squad, and now more nades come in.
It's raining nades. Hallelujah. It's the way that they're just falling at their feet there too, because it's the third party, make it the fourth party. Noah's who had made the rotate with the Trident are looking to get involved over to the north side. Now they see Na'Vi going in for a 3P, but they still have the high ground advantage. Simultaneously though, there's a huge pile up over to the south side. We see Hao getting a double knock onto Z10, who are also trying to see if they can wrap up behind them, even looking at that Mythic bin. Sentinels also jumped on top of Edward Gaming and have now taken that exact building high ground away from them.
You can see Na'Vi continuing their rotate in. They were looking for that third party, but Noah's Fox played this one much safer, pulling back away. And take a look. If you can see on that mini-map, the ring will continue to pull up to the northwest side. TSM, of course, the team that dropped that wall, will be able to rotate in for that. EDG throughout all this end up getting knocked out here. And Na'Vi somehow are in one of the strongest positions here in the lobby. It's all up to Noah's Fox, though, to try and stop them from advancing further into the zone.
And Na'Vi hoping a little bit that Noah's could try to take some shots at them, but Gen G are in such a good position out of the line of sight of Noah's Fox. As you can see, Sheila out to play, shooting at the crypto drone right above them. It looks like Gen G wanted to try to approach, maybe with the opportunity of a crypto drone EMP. as Fox are trying to also get into a different angle. They want to stop this fight from happening, but they can't overcommit. They have to stay in their position, as Gen.G are also looking behind them.
Yeah, you can hear all the 30-30 shots coming out from above them right now, as Gen.G will get the knock on the Uchako and finish off Na'Vi. Valiant effort there, but here's the third party from Enter Force 36. Asia on the slide in, just commits to this fight. Dexter the only one up for Gen.G as an EMP comes in for the third party. Enter Force 36 will be able to get this reset. Never mind, possible third party once again.
Back to back. Look at the graveyard at their feet right now. E36 also trying to reset, taking a good amount of that damage. Oh, okay, we're shooting ghosts out here too, I guess. Trying to make sure they can find the crypto drone flying around them, who's invisible too, by the way. They heard it flying around them originally. You see the knock here. Sasuke in some trouble. Malaika has the high ground, but takes so much damage.
And Noah's Fox played this one way too safe, keeping their anchor in the back instead of sending the full 3 to commit onto E36. So now it's a 2v2. Excuse me, a 2v3 in favor of Enter Force 36. Now here on the south side, Kinotrope trying to make their way on in, but it's Wolves Esports currently playing the gatekeepers.
Looking down at Kinotrope with some help from Fnatic on the other side of the wall. They slide down. They get the damage done. Miss out some PK shots, but the ring does the rest of the damage. It's a nail in the coffin. And we're seeing some pop-off moments right here as Wolves Esports still with 2 blue Evo shields are playing on the edge of the zone. The fact that E36 were also able to reset after the Mirage we saw go invisible to pop that medkit, to pop that bag here. And then Noah's Fox had to back away now, instead having to play this out as a duo after they were here in that final zone from the beginning.
Yeah, we'll see if they do have mobile respawn beacon for themselves. The crypto drone is out right now to try and secure that death box, but you can see Enter Force 36, their only eyes are on Noah's Fox right now, and it does seem like they will be able to get that res. But throughout all this, Mouse note that and try to advance on their position. They know that one person is playing anchor back here. They've got the fight. Now they're pulling back with their third to try and go for this, but I think enough damage was done. Someone got knocked to the ring.
Yeah, that was the third.
Noah's Fox now have the advantage.
They just got the res there too, but it was too far out of the zone there. It did just enough damage, and now Mouse just walk up. Left gets the first stock here originally, but they're taking too much pressure here. Also from behind us, E36 walk up to get the 3P. Noah's are just in shambles. Only one member left of Noah's as now Fnatic walk up uncontested while the fight between TSM and Wolves Esports is going down in wall.
Massive game here, though, for both Fnatic and Enter Force 36. Fnatic, a win here basically secures them into the top 7. For Enter Force 36, that puts them on the bubble. Right now at 45 points, though, as Fnatic push forward, Wolves will get eliminated. E36 on the other side of this fight.
Yes, I have to now quickly get involved in this third party if they want an opportunity to take this game, especially while this fight is going for as long as it is. IOI that cannot clutch it out. He can't slide out of their line of sight. One of the teams rocking the Mirage is Fnatic at the res.
What is TSM doing?
They just finished that fight versus Wolves, but it took so long, and now they have no way to cross this distance because they're one of the teams with the Valkyrie, literally the only team with the Valkyrie, the Rampart, and the Newcastle to cross in this space. Now Fnatic have the high ground.
Full 3v3, and I was going to say the Evo in favor of Fnatic, but TSM led a huge nade. Lively's gets a knock. Colonel Garcia comes in for a second, and Fnatic take a massive win here. So much KP farm. They were able to move in early once again. Fnatic, are they just Storm Point demons?
Looks like it. It definitely looks like it. And great timing on when they had to rotate to 3P that fight. The unfortunate res that we saw from Noah's. We also saw the contention from E36 right behind them. It was Fnatic that nobody was blocking Fnatic from just walking outside a wall. Why? Because TSM and that fight versus Wolves Esports took forever. It took, by the time the third party came around, by the time that original fight finished, by the time Fnatic healed and then repositioned themselves, TSM was still not there. But nonetheless, they got the KP that they needed in terms of the placement as well.
And also, just the comfort. Going into the final 2 games of the day, Fnatic with a back-to-back victory there on Storm Point. Another plus 25 for them. Really does kind of cement themselves in the top 7. I don't want to curse anything, right? But 2 bad games in a row here to finish things off, and they still might be able to secure it. But, you know, Fnatic can't let off the
steam, I guess.
Steam whatsoever. Yeah. Man, that is fantastic for them. That will move them up into the 3rd position. Very comfortable. And that's saying a lot, especially considering the teams above you right now in NIP and Falcons. So, some of our top dogs from our regions, from our different regions, really starting to show their hand.
And Fnatic did pretty good on E-District too. The only game that they kind of faltered on E-District was Game 5. So, you know, carrying that forward and seeing the most of that success on Stormpoint as we take a look at our top 7 teams that are feeling pretty...